Friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Open Secret. In our recent journey of understanding the body, mind, and soul concept as per the Indian Shastras, today we are presenting before you our last chapter in this series. Today we talk about soul. This is chapter number 9. In our chapters 4, 6, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we have covered your social possibility. Then we covered your body in 3 different short videos. And in our last video, we covered the topic of mind. Today, the all important phases of the interface between the body mind aggregate and the soul is being explained. Friends, please know that God is not the subject here. Even soul is not the subject here. We are talking only about the interface between God and the being. And also, please note that the body mind aggregate does not have any light of its own to perform any function. The body can be understood as a hardware and the mind as the software of any machine. But the energy is not there yet. The machine cannot do any function. The grand connection between this energy source and the being is exhibited in this short video. United we stay, separated we disperse. Friends, thus is the truth of the being. The human being is not a man-made machine. You are a creation of all supreme God. The grandeur of his plan is mystical to the normal being. On death, all the three, the body, the mind, and the soul, travel to their respective destinations. And all along the journey, all principles of reason and that of cause and effect are in place. Observing such a wonderful phenomena, man could not have sit idle. The explanation to this complex panorama could not have been a straight line equation. Man is not made so. Man had to find the reality hidden within. Many gaps were to be filled, many answers were to be found. Mind, which is a mere interface between body and soul, is so vast And body in itself is so very complex. How the topic of soul could have been such a straight line principle? Soul supposedly performed the function of taking energy from the supreme source and pass it on to the body via mind and then live life joyously. Even the how of it was not convincing. The truth was compulsive and ever eluding. Our seers researched this subject and found the answers. The mediating interfaces between the body and the supreme were found thus. The seers found between the body and God, of course, mind, but they found three distinct elements. For the reason of language, we would use Hindi terms here because the terms in English are not clear even to us. You know, they found Dehi, Jivatma, and Atma as three distinct elements completing the interface. Dehi is stationed inside the Deh, which is the possessor of soul and Jivatma and Atma. Soul acts as the prime receiver of the energy from God and through Jivatma passes it to Dehi, enabling functions of the Deh as per commands of the Jiva. On death of the body, these get separated and go on their individual journeys. Okay, good. These are the intermediate interfaces between the body and the God. But how are these individually defined? And what are the links between these individual entities? Each of these entities must have a unique origin, its own world. Each must have its own powers and limitations. Each must have its own purpose and traverse. How God is linked to each Jeev. Do God's other forms have any relations with the Jiva? Our seers were on constant search. And let us remember the basic fundamental rule that any entity must have two faces. There is nothing in the universe that exists with only one face. Even quality attributes are having two extremes like good and bad. Any coin must have two faces for its completion. Friends, examine here that Dehi, Jivatma, and Atma form the link chain between the Deh and God. Mark that as compared to the earlier diagram, here each entity shifts toward the next sublime state. Now, half of Dehi is Dehi and the other half of Dehi is Jivatma, and so on. Dehi is the link between Deh, the body, and Jivatma, and Jivatma is the link between Dehi and Atma, and Atma is the link between Jivatma and God. Here begins the principle of being. The being is a aggregate of Deh, Dehi, and Jivatma, also having some phases of Atma. However, soul is an aggregate of finer forms of Jivatma and Atma. This is clear from our shown diagram. Friends, now we talk about the relation between God and the being. The God in India, like our language Sanskrit, is described by three different words. In Sanskrit, we have the concept of Ekvachan, Dvivachan, and Bahuvachan. The Ekvachan God is Brahma. The Dvivachan God is Ishwar or Paramatma. And the Bahuvachan God is Bhagwan. The being has a relation with God in these three forms. When the being has a relation with Bhagwan, it is that of Bhakti Marg. The ultimate here is finding place in the lotus feet. When the being finds a relation with Ishwar, which is a Dvivachan, it is a relation of Karma Marg. Now, the ultimate here is Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. And when the being finds the relation with God, when God is Ekvachan, Brahma, the passage is called Gyan Marg. The ultimate here is Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. So these are the three relations between the being and God. Friends, this gives a brief description of relations between God and body mind aggregate. Having gone through the explanations provided here, we are sure that you will develop an insight into the activities of the world. And this knowledge will surely bring joy in your life. It will enrich your life. Your concept and visualization of the world will become more explicit, clear, and rewarding. Thank you.